My girlfriend of 6 years cheated on me with my friend on her birthday while I paid all her bills. When I confronted her, she claimed, "You have nothing to worry about," and blamed me for being controlling. After finding her sex dream about him, I realized I had to kick her out. Now, is she really gone for good or just playing me again? So I discovered that my girlfriend of 6 years was unfaithful with someone I believed was a friend on her birthday. That morning, while she was getting ready, I ended up checking her phone. It was in her game room with an alarm going off, so I went to turn it off. Previously, I had noticed her and my so-called friend playing Fortnite together frequently without me. He is best friends with her cousin, and we typically played the game together. I began to sense that they were developing a friendship that made me uncomfortable. We were all planning a vacation together, and I expressed my discomfort regarding their constant texting to coordinate gaming sessions without me. Naturally, she became defensive and told me not to be insecure or that I had nothing to worry about. A couple of weeks passed, and as her birthday approached, I checked her phone due to a nagging feeling. It turned out my instincts were correct. I discovered they had been secretly flirting with each other behind my back. Keep in mind, I bought her phone, she lives with me, and I pay all the bills and take care of her. I was utterly heartbroken and shocked. I skimmed through the messages, unsure of how to respond. When I walked up to her while reading her texts, she turned pale upon seeing me with her phone. As soon as I confronted her, she went into defensive mode and started blaming me. She uttered some very hurtful things, but since I know she has some mental issues inherited from her mother, I tend to not take some of her comments too seriously because she always apologizes afterward, even though they hurt profoundly. Nevertheless, she defended him, claiming he gave her more attention and was kinder, spewing nonsense I didn't care about. I was furious. I couldn't imagine what might have transpired if we had gone on vacation together. She even mentioned she would still go if I were unable to join due to work or some other reason. A whirlwind of emotions surged through my mind, yet I remained calm. I never wanted to hurt anyone more in my life than I did that day. I felt betrayed by both my partner and a friend simultaneously. We discussed the situation, and like a fool, I still wanted to be with her since there had yet to be any physical interaction between them, considering she only knew him for about a month at most. It had all been limited to texting and gaming. I established boundaries and insisted she cut him off completely. At first, she refused to do so, but eventually blocked his number in front of me. However, I wasn't sure if she still had him on any social media, which I forgot to ask her. She complied with my request, but I couldn't tell if it was out of a genuine desire to mend our relationship or simply to placate me. We continued our day as if nothing happened, even though I was heartbroken. Later that night, I discovered she changed all her passwords on her devices and disabled her location tracking. We had always shared our locations, so her actions after I caught her cheating were alarming. Her justification was that I was being too controlling and she needed some space. I began to notice her growing distant, always on her phone, texting so that I couldn't see what she was up to, claiming it was her friend. There was no longer any intimacy. She didn't respond to texts as promptly as she used to and was vague about her plans. She often came home late while supposedly out with her cousin's girlfriend, started going out more frequently with either her cousin's girlfriend or another friend, and became irritable, instigating petty arguments over trivial matters. Essentially, she made me feel like a nuisance despite my efforts to show her I loved her and tried to win her attention back. Additionally, I found a sexual fantasy story she had written in her notes that seemed to be about him. It hinted to me that it was about him because she wrote, "We were in what I would imagine your room looked like, and you covered my mouth to keep me quiet so your mother didn't hear me moaning." It was a very graphic story that concluded with her stating it was merely a dream and that she woke up very aroused. This did not sit well with me. She claimed it was just a random dream for a book she wanted to write since she had been mentioning for the past year or two that she was working on a graphic novel. About a week and a half ago, she left for a baseball game in Atlanta, which she described as a girls' night out with her two friends. She ignored me for most of the day, and they stayed overnight since the game ended late, and we live about 2 hours from Atlanta. Given the lying about the infidelity, I was uncomfortable with her staying over, but she did it anyway. I still had this guy as a friend on PlayStation Network, so I noticed that he was the only one not online with the rest of the guys we played with. He wasn't online, which struck me as odd since I knew his work schedule and that he had the Friday off. My mind began to race with thoughts that she was with him in Atlanta, prompting me to make the poor decision to turn on her old phone to check her location. Ultimately, I made the mistake of driving to the hotel where my instincts told me she might be. Long story short, I confirmed my suspicions when I saw him pull into the front entrance to check out. I thought I saw my girlfriend in the passenger seat, but I couldn't be entirely sure. When I drove up next to him to confirm, he started speeding away. I did not chase him, but he fled nonetheless. I texted my girlfriend, asking if she was with him, unaware that I was nearby. She responded no, claiming she didn't know he was there. However, it didn't make sense why he would be in Atlanta, checking out of the same hotel as her on the same night. She told her family that I followed her, but I doubt she explained why I did or mentioned that I discovered her infidelity. She vehemently denied being with him. I swear I thought I saw her in his passenger seat when they drove to the front office, but when I pulled up next to him, I did not see anyone, though the seat looked entirely reclined. I didn't see her exit the hotel, even though she had told me she was with her two female friends. Additionally, she lied about the room layout in that hotel. She said they had two bedrooms with one couch, and that she slept on the couch, but I verified that they only had a king bed with one couch or rooms with two queen beds and no couch. She also hasn't shown me any proof that she was with her friends, no photos from the game or anything, especially since her cousin's girlfriend is always taking pictures whenever we hang out. It has been a month as of today since her birthday, and she just returned from a family trip to Florida bringing along a random promise ring. She claims she bought it for herself, but there was no clear context explaining the reason for it. I have been wondering if she is still in contact with this guy or if he sent her money to purchase it, which is just a thought stemming from my distrust. She avoids discussing the situation entirely, and we have yet to have a proper talk about the issues we are facing. Instead, she tries to sidestep the conversation altogether while I continue to search for answers regarding why it happened, whether it is still ongoing, and if I am genuinely wasting my time by staying with her. She exhibits a hot and cold attitude towards me, being cruel, ignoring my texts despite being on Snapchat with other people due to a rapidly rising score, and then apologizing for how she acted, only to revert back to being loving and kind. I am reaching a point where I question whether I should just kick her out of my house and mourn the loss of this relationship. She is the love of my life, and we had all these plans and goals, including getting married, starting a family, and succeeding together. I have made numerous sacrifices for her and feel emotionally drained by the constant turmoil. It resembles a roller coaster, where I am happy for a fleeting moment followed by deep sadness and tears. It would devastate me to learn that she is merely using me for a place to live while being unfaithful and continuing her secret relationship with him. She insists that she is no longer in contact with him, but I genuinely do not know what to believe anymore. She hasn't taken any steps to regain my trust, such as showing me that she is no longer communicating with him. I keep my location visible for her while hers remains deactivated. Furthermore, she has accused me of cheating multiple times without evidence, as though she is trying to elicit a confession for something I did not do. She informed me 3 nights ago that someone on Facebook, a close family friend, told her they saw me with another woman in my truck. My girlfriend was reluctant to reveal who allegedly said that, claiming they wanted to avoid complications with me. When I asked her to provide proof, she stated that she had deleted the messages, leaving me heartbroken that she would falsely accuse me of infidelity despite my unwavering commitment to her. The promise ring situation has been troubling me, as I find it strange that she obtained one and wears it all day, whereas when I bought her a ring she rarely wore it. Now this ring must stay on her finger where a wedding ring would be. Is this an indication that she is taking things more seriously with him while using me, or am I simply being paranoid and delusional? I honestly can't think straight anymore. She continuously plays mind games with me, and the inconsistent behavior is affecting me deeply, especially since I would do anything for her, yet I am left wondering if she has emotionally detached herself from me after everything that has transpired. She labels me as crazy, toxic, and controlling. Additionally, I threatened the guy after discovering his actions, and he informed her cousin, causing her cousin to dislike me. I have no idea if her family is aware of the entire story, and she keeps positioning herself as the victim. She has never accepted responsibility for her actions or offered an apology. I want to confront this guy for treating me poorly while simultaneously pursuing my girlfriend behind my back. Their actions have left me skeptical about ever finding genuine friends and true love again. I feel utterly lost in my life right now and have distanced myself from my family for her, as she has never liked them due to issues that were ultimately my family's fault. Should I simply end things and ask her to leave, or should I seek to understand what is truly occurring? By the way, that guy claims he wants to press charges against me for the threat, but I am unsure if he will actually go through with it. It frustrates me that he has the audacity to pursue his friend's girlfriend. Ironically, this behavior mirrors what was done to him in his previous relationship, revealing an unsettling pattern. Update: I kicked her out, took the phone, and put her belongings outside. It is not my responsibility to neatly pack her things. I also informed her parents as a courtesy, in case they were wondering why she was moving back in with them, as they always treated me like their own son. Story 2. My GF of 6 years cheated on me with my so-called friend on her birthday. After I found texts, she said, "You're just being controlling." Weeks later, I discovered her with him in Atlanta. "I don't know him," she denied. "Should I move on or fight for us?" I recently discovered that my girlfriend of 6 years was unfaithful to me with someone I believed to be a friend on her birthday. On the morning of her birthday, while she was getting ready, I checked her phone, which was in her game room with an alarm going off. I had previously observed her and my so-called friend playing Fortnite together frequently without me. He is best friends with her cousin, and we usually played the game together. I began to notice that they seemed to be getting friendlier than I felt comfortable with. We had been planning a vacation together, and I expressed my discomfort about their constant texting to arrange gaming sessions without me. Naturally, she became defensive and told me not to be insecure or that I had nothing to worry about. A couple of weeks went by, and when her birthday arrived, I felt compelled to check her phone due to my gut feeling. It turned out my intuition was correct. I found evidence of them secretly flirting behind my back. Keep in mind that I purchased her phone, she lives with me, I cover all the bills, and I take care of her. I was heartbroken and shocked. As I skimmed through the messages, I was unsure how to react. I approached her while still reading her texts, and she appeared pale at the sight of me on her phone. When I confronted her, she immediately went into defense mode and began blaming me. She said some very hurtful things, but I often disregard them because I know she has mental health issues passed down from her mother. She typically apologizes for her behavior even though it has deeply affected me. However, she defended him, claiming he provides her with more attention and his kind comments that I found irrelevant. I was furious. I couldn't imagine what might have happened had we gone on vacation together. She even mentioned that she would still go if I couldn't make it due to work or other commitments. I experienced a whirlwind of emotions but managed to stay calm. I never wanted to hurt anyone as much as I did him. I felt betrayed by both my partner and a friend simultaneously. We discussed the situation and like a fool, I still wanted to be with her since it had not developed into a physical relationship because she had only known him for about a month with their interactions being limited to texting and gaming. I established boundaries that required her to cut him off completely. Initially, she refused and said no, but eventually she did block his number in front of me. However, I had my doubts about whether she had him on any social media, which I forgot to inquire about. She complied with my request, but I was uncertain if this was out of a desire to mend our relationship or merely to placate me. We carried on with our day as if nothing had occurred despite my heartbreak. Later that night, I discovered she changed all of her passwords on her devices and disabled her location sharing. We had always shared our locations, so her actions after I caught her cheating seemed alarming. Her explanation was that I was being too controlling and that she needed space. I began to notice her distancing herself. She was always on her phone texting in such a way that I could not see her messages, claiming she was chatting with a friend. There was a decline in intimacy, and she no longer responded to texts as quickly as she used to. She became vague about her whereabouts and activities, frequently came home late after being out with her cousin's girlfriend, and began going out more regularly with either her cousin's girlfriend or another friend. She would become angry and initiate petty arguments over trivial matters, ultimately making me feel like a nuisance despite my efforts to express my love for her and win her attention back. Additionally, I discovered a graphic story about a sexual dream she wrote down in her notes, which seemingly featured him. The clue that indicated it was about him was a passage where she described a scenario that involved a room resembling what I imagined to be his, and how he covered her mouth to keep her quiet so that his mother wouldn't hear her moaning. This graphic narrative unsettled me. She claimed it was just a random dream for a book she had long wished to write, as she had been discussing working on a graphic novel for a year or two. About a week and a half ago, she left for Atlanta for a Braves baseball game, which she described as a girls' night out with two friends. She ignored me for most of the day, and they ultimately decided to stay overnight since the game ended late and we live about 2 hours from Atlanta. Given my previous experience with her cheating, I felt uneasy about her staying the night, but she went ahead with it anyway. Since I still had this guy as a friend on PlayStation Network, I noticed he was the only one not online with the other guys we regularly played with. It seemed odd since I knew he was off work that Friday. My mind raced with possibilities that she might be with him in Atlanta. Acting impulsively, I turned on her old phone to check her location and made the poor decision to go to the hotel to verify my suspicions. Long story short, he was indeed there. I witnessed him pull up to the front of the hotel to check out. I thought I spotted my girlfriend in the passenger seat, but I couldn't be certain. When I drove up next to him to confirm, he abruptly sped away, trying to escape. I did not pursue him. I texted my girlfriend asking if she was with him, unaware that I was in the vicinity, and she denied it. She claimed she did not know he was there, but it did not make sense for him to be in Atlanta checking out of the same hotel on the same night as her. She told her family that I had followed her, but I doubt she explained why I did or mentioned that I discovered her infidelity. She continues to deny being with him. I was convinced I saw her in his passenger seat when they drove to the front office, but when I got alongside him, I didn't see anyone, though it did appear the seat was reclined. I did not see her exit the hotel, where she said she was with her two female friends. She also misrepresented the layout of the room they supposedly stayed in. She claimed they had a two-bedroom suite with one couch and that she slept on the couch, but I fact-checked this and discovered they only had rooms with either one king-sized bed and one couch or two queen beds without a couch. She has not provided any proof of her being with her friends, no pictures at the game or anything, especially since her cousin's girlfriend typically takes photos of everything during our outings. It has now been 1 month since her birthday, and she just returned from a family trip in Florida, arriving with a random promise ring. She claims she bought it for herself without any clear context as to why. I cannot help but wonder if she is still in contact with this guy and whether he financed the purchase. This speculation is fueled by my growing distrust. She avoids discussing the situation, and we still have not had a thorough conversation to address our issues together. She sidesteps the conversation entirely while I continue to grapple with why this occurred, whether it is still ongoing, and if I am truly wasting my time by remaining with her. Her attitude toward me fluctuates. She often treats me poorly, ignores my texts, yet I can see she is still Snapchatting others due to her rising score. Then she apologizes for her behavior and returns to being nice and affectionate. I am reaching a point where I wonder if I should just ask her to leave my house and mourn the loss of our relationship. She is the love of my life, and we had plans and goals to marry, start a family, and succeed together. I have made numerous sacrifices for her, and now I feel emotionally drained from the overwhelming feelings I experience daily. It is like a roller coaster. I am happy for brief moments before descending into sadness and tears. It would devastate me to discover that she has merely been using me for shelter and support while continuing a clandestine relationship with him. She asserts that she no longer communicates with him, but I genuinely do not know what to believe anymore. She has not made any effort to rebuild my trust by demonstrating that she is no longer in contact with him. I leave my location services on for her to see where I am, but hers remains disabled. Additionally, she has accused me of infidelity several times, without any evidence, as if she is trying to provoke a confession for something I did not do. Just 3 nights ago, she informed me that someone on Facebook, whom I consider a family member or close friend, told her they saw me with another girl in my truck. She was reluctant to disclose who said this, as they did not want to create tension between us. I requested proof, but she claimed she deleted the messages and could not provide any. That accusation stung deeply, as I have only ever had eyes for her. The promise ring situation has been troubling me as well, because I find it strange that she bought one and wears it constantly, while when I gave her a ring, any ring, for that matter, she rarely wore them. This particular ring has to remain on her finger where a wedding ring would traditionally go. Is this indicative of her becoming more serious with him while merely using me, or am I being paranoid and delusional? I genuinely cannot think clearly anymore. She continues to play mind games with me, and her erratic behavior is taking its toll, because I would do anything for her, but I now question if she is entirely emotionally detached from me. She labels me as crazy, toxic, and controlling. I threatened the guy when I found out about his actions, and he informed her cousin, resulting in her cousin harboring resentment towards me. I am unsure if her family is fully aware of the situation, and she often portrays herself as the victim. She has never fully taken responsibility for her actions or apologized. My anger towards the guy for betraying me is intense, as he manipulated me and pursued my girlfriend behind my back. They have stripped away my hope for genuine friendships and true love. I feel utterly lost in my life, having distanced myself from my family for her sake, as she never liked them due to past issues that were not their fault. Should I end things and evict her, or should I attempt to resolve the ongoing situation? By the way, the guy claims he wants to file charges against me for the threat I made against him, but I have no idea if he will follow through. His behavior infuriates me. I cannot understand how he could attempt to take another man's girlfriend. Ironically, he experienced similar betrayal in his previous relationship, and it is infuriating that he is now doing precisely what was done to him. Update: I kicked her out, took her phone, and tossed her belongings outside. It is not my responsibility to pack them up neatly for her. I informed her parents as well, in case they were wondering about her moving back home, out of respect for them, as they treated me like their own son. Story 3. Caught between love and loyalty, I wondered if I should break up with him, a man with deep blue eyes and a hidden life. His excuses piled up alongside empty bottles, and I questioned, will I lose him or lose myself? Can I really walk away for my own sanity? I'm a 34-year-old male and have been seeing this 30-year-old man since December 15th of last year, 2024. We first met one morning when I received a message from him indicating that he wanted to hang out. There was nothing sexual about it. He simply wanted to spend time together because he had been drinking. This was around 9:00 a.m. I should have recognized the red flag at that moment, but my curiosity led me to go over. As soon as he opened his front door, I immediately fell in love with his deep blue eyes, which were bloodshot from what was likely excessive drinking. A couple of hours went by and another red flag arose. He told me he loved me. Taken aback, I cautiously reciprocated his feelings. From there, we discussed the kind of relationship we both desired. As two older gay men, we are all aware of the various types of relationships that exist. We agreed to be monogamous and solely dedicated to each other. He does not drive a car but works where he lives, which could be considered a yellow flag, though I did not see it as a serious issue. As time passed, I began to notice small things, such as his aversion to criticism, his defensiveness when being told what to do, and his tendency to engage in self-deprecation from time to time. One night, he had an argument with my roommate and subsequently decided never to come over to my place again because he felt disrespected. While I understand his feelings, there were times when I wished he would move on, but he has not done so to this day. Therefore, I have made an effort to always go over to his residence. I stay with him on weekends and at least once during the week because he has chosen that as our quality time. I clean his place since he works a stressful 9-to-5 job, and I try to make his life a little easier. I attempt to cook, even though I know I am not very good at it, but I make the effort. Meanwhile, even when I stay there, he goes out to his balcony for a smoke, and I notice that he quickly hides his phone when I come out to say something. I should have recognized the signs then. 3 months passed, and I remained fully monogamous and committed to him, but one night after I had gone to bed around midnight, I was awakened by his going out to the balcony to smoke before returning to bed. It was 2:00 a.m. and I looked out the window facing the balcony and saw him messaging other men on applications. My heart raced and my body went into shock. I texted him that I was in the mood, indicating that I had awakened wanting to be intimate with him. However, I was uncertain about how to handle that situation. Afterwards, he fell asleep and I remained awake for a couple of hours. I decided to wait until the next morning to address the issue. I fell asleep with my back to him while he cuddled and tried to get close to me, but I remained still for the rest of the night. The next morning, after I woke up, he got out of bed as if nothing had happened. I sat down on the couch, still a little shaken, and simply stated, "I think I am going to go home." He appeared confused and curious about what had occurred, and I confronted him about catching him messaging other men. Initially, he tried to blame me, claiming that I never spent time with him and did not meet his emotional needs. I was unfazed and decided to leave. A couple of days later, I made the decision to give him another chance, believing that he needed to make an effort to be invested in the relationship we had discussed from the beginning. Fast forward to nearly 5 months together, and he has become even more distant. I have opened up significantly, expressed my wants and needs, and have been attempting to repair the trust he has broken. However, I am beginning to reach my breaking point. I have come to realize that he is emotionally unavailable, struggles with a serious addiction to alcohol and smoking, and is uninterested in making changes both as an individual and as my partner. I love him, but I am uncertain whether I should continue investing my time and energy when I am receiving nothing in return. He has emotionally held me hostage, but I do not know if I will emerge from this situation unscathed or damaged for the rest of my life. Losing him will create a void in my heart, but it is likely best for me to end the relationship for my mental and physical well-being. I know that it has only been 5 months, but the feeling of loving someone does not easily fade away. At this point, I do not trust that he would not actually cheat on me or believe anything he tells me.